we're back. No lame jokes this week because we're kind of tired and we're also sort of in shock.
We have no idea what to do with what you guys have given us.
So anyway, welcome to the Smart to Noise Ratio Pro Audio Podcast. This is episode 34. I'm your humble and shocked and humbled host, Jon Dayton. Joining me immediately to my left, my humble co-host, Anthony Kosobucki.
Hey there, ladies, and apparently guys, because I can't imagine that there are enough guys listening to this.
It's probably a big sausage party. So yeah, the things kind of took off for us this week. We've been feeling like after 10 months doing this that we had finally started to find our audience. And so I wrote this little post based on a conversation I had on Reddit. Did a little research, put it up there, and let me check the current numbers. In one day, that post got 2,300 views. We've actually...
Unbelievable. Like, that's blown entire other quarters out of the water.
Well, let me check. There's only 2 months out of the last 10 that the whole month did that well. So we apparently found the kind of stuff that you guys like to read about. So we're doing our best to drill down and find ideas and keep writing about stuff. Because now the pressure's on. Like, now we have to not suck. And I'll be honest with you, I don't have anything for tomorrow.
Well, we got some, or at least me and John have some ideas of. It seems that you guys are enjoying the mini podcast because really, I wouldn't want to listen to me for an entire hour. I do, because I'm a Jew and I love myself and I'm egocentric and all that crap. But what it comes down to is that those neat little nippets of stuff, like the little. I think our first little spike was with the kick drum technique, and then John's choir miking technique, the building a choir thing took off, and all the other stuff that he's done has really kind of just knocked us out of the park into a way that we never really imagined, especially starting from trying to teach our interns how to do stuff the right way. We were expecting to go into like an audience of 5, and we got...
Well, actually, I started this blog for my intern, and I can't get him to read it. He's always busy playing with his Arduino. Don't take that out of context. It's a family show. Come on, guys. If you don't know what that is, look it up. But so anyway, I really got nothing. Don't expect stellar, and we don't expect a stellar response like that every day. So, but yeah, I got today's Wednesday, the day that post dropped. So by the time you guys are hearing this on Sunday, we'll see what else is developed. Excuse me. So, I'm sorry, the TV is so distracting, even with the sound off.
There's no hockey on, so we can't put anything that's on that's wildly distracting. I'm gonna look around.
The preview channel, that's perfect. Let's leave it right there.
Okay,
it's kind of soothing. No, I don't care about poor. Well, anyway, we actually have a lot more ideas backed up for mini podcasts because these are all concepts that we've done our best to explain and talk about
and stuff that we do on a daily or weekly basis.
Right, but only in text and only just sitting here talking about it. So we're planning to ramp up, bringing you guys some stuff. I've talked about vocal EQ a whole lot. I've got a couple examples I'm going to ramp up here. Anthony's got... actually, we'll have to see who gets to it first because he's got the Glenn Johns drum technique mini podcast coming, and then whoever gets to it first, I guess, is going to do...
the fat, skinny guitar miking.
My dual miking technique.
That might come out first because I've got a guitar amp upstairs that's working for now. So as long as it's working tomorrow, I'll work on that.
All right. Cool. Fair enough. Then I'll do the vocal thing and you can do my guitar thing. Are you just going to send me the samples and I'll do the voiceover for that one? Or?
No. Well, the guitar thing I'll do. What I want to do is do a few guitar samples of the fat, skinny mic. So I'll do a 57 and a 609. Both run through Focusrite pre's straight into my DAW. With a few different guitars, we'll do a Strat, we'll do a Tele, we'll do Les Paul and an SG. If I can catch Darren while he's out somewhere, I'll take his 335 too.
Oh, he'd let you borrow it. Well, you might have to come do that one.
Yeah, I'll do that at your
He'll let
place.
you carry it across the hall into the performance space.
If I tell him Amanda wants it, then I'll just hand it
Put
over.
a bow on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saving it for. Like, hey, Darren, you're going to be a pseudo grandpa. Can I borrow your guitar? Yoink.
Now, didn't he already have one guy try to marry one of his daughters for that guitar?
Carl. That was his, not his push gift, but whatever his wedding gift would be. Yeah. No, yeah. Carl, not dated one of Darren's daughters, but hung out with and thought about dating one of Darren's daughters for that 335. And you know what? I don't blame them. She's good looking. And her dad's got some sweet gear.
I don't get it. It's just a 335, right?
You don't play guitar that much
Anymore.
So,
actually, it's probably good you do the guitar one, because I haven't. It'd probably be pretty embarrassing. Probably more embarrassing than my piano playing.
well, it'll be fairly embarrassing compared to the people that I've got to record. I got to record a guy tonight playing some sax on some stuff for me that has gotten to sit in with the Buffalo Philharmonic Orchestra, which is actually a really good Philharmonic Orchestra, and Tower of Power. If you've never heard of Tower of Power,
you ain't living, boy.
Go on Spotify or YouTube. Go search up Tower of Power and listen to some stuff. And a guy that got to sit in with them numerous times is the guy they got to record tonight. You probably won't see him in videos, but every time they're in Buffalo, he usually gets to sit in and hang out with the guys after, and they're disgusting, unbelievable funk musicians. My favorite kind of musicians. For a white guy.
Speaking of which,
yeah,
we had a guest musician, and this is just one of the weird demographic things. Like the part of town that we're in, it's pretty much all like German, Polish. Like the darkest it gets is maybe some Italians at our church.
If you're lucky,
because the Buffalo Bills stopped going there, so there just aren't any.
Where are they going now? They stopped going to my church first. They stopped going to your church. They're at the chapel now.
I don't know. Probably. I think they might not be attending, which might explain their performance. Never mind. But I don't care. I just don't. So anyway, we had this girl come in, Jamaican girl, who one of our guys met at an event out in town. Brought her in to sing this week, and it has nothing to do with color, because I mean she grew up around here too, and she listens to all the same music that we listen to. It's so not a color thing. But this girl, when she's laid back, sound kind of like Macy Gray, and when she belts, sound like Alicia Keys
on pitch. Not like when you usually hear Alicia Keys sing live, but on pitch.
Yeah. So girlfriend had it going on tonight. And actually, I had a lovely moment with I have had a second DBX 160A just sitting. So I finally
I haven't stolen it yet.
I put security head screws in to at least slow you down enough so I can tackle you. But
you sleep pretty hard though, so I can get your security card right quick.
Yeah, but you'll still need that weird headed screw. I'm not even gonna tell you which one.
I need a drill. I'll just tap that thing out.
Anyway, had her. All our vocalists are on Sennheiser 845 condenser mics, and I bust her through the DBX.
Or you got. No, they're 865s, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I misspoke.
But they've got the switchable pattern, so you can do a cardioid or a super cardioid.
Actually, no, they don't.
Oh, they don't? Is that the 945s that do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Mine are not switchable.
Or the 965s, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Mine are definitely the 800 level stuff, but they're amazing. Like the only EQ I have on them is to correct for some stuff that's going to build up in the room if I don't because they're backup vocalists that use them. I knock a little top off of them so that the sibilants are kind of laid back a little bit and they don't walk on the main vocals. And then although actually it got better this week. I did a little gain shading on my system without Smart. Yeah. I just did it by ear. But I have a lot of buildup of 300 to 500 because of the shape of my room and the distance to the back wall and such. But anyway, other than that, like I make them flat so they don't misbehave in the room. Everybody just sounds good on them. Like
they really do. Especially for you, a guy that's, I mean, as long as I've known you, you're a sure guy. Like, and that
I don't like better stuff. I buy
for all the stuff that you've done. As long as I've known you, like right now, I'm talking on a SM86, and I love them. Like if I could snag one all the time, I would for my vocal because I know how my vocal responds to stuff when I'm singing, and I know that this really captures it really nicely. There's not a nasty present speaker or anything like that, but the fact that you got 865s on everything, and you like them, it's kind of nice to know that, a better product does warrant a better response.
True. So anyway,
sorry,
I forgot. I digress. I'm pretty beat. I spent all day massaging a copy machine, like trying to trick it into doing what I wanted. But that's another story. So anyway, yeah, I had this girl, and she had just a ton of dynamic range. Like when she was singing backup parts on 4 of the songs, she was just barely in there. And then when she cut loose on the 2 tunes that she was leading, she was coming hot. So I quick patched in this 160. finally got around to it, and it wasn't like manhandling her, but like she was lighting up 6 dB reduction pretty much all the time and hitting 12 on the peaks, and man, things just got lush.
Yeah.
So that was a pleasant experience. That was just a beautiful cap to my day.
Awesome.
Did you do some sax?
Yeah, I did.
Let's get into that.
So today there's a project I've been recording for about a year and a half because my schedule is awful. The guy who's recording the project's schedule is awful. He's a teacher, so he really only has 1 day a week to come in and do stuff. He's a phenomenal drummer, amazing vocalist. He's a good guitar player too. He plays acoustic. And he can play some keys too. So he would come in, record some scratch acoustic and vocal tracks, record his drum tracks over them, and then I do bass for him and do some acoustic overdubs and stuff. But there was one song in particular that he wanted. He was thinking, he's like, it's just a really laid back song. He's like, I don't want a guitar solo on it. I don't want a keyboard solo, piano, nothing like that. He's like, I think the only thing that really works on this is saxophone. And earlier I talked, less than 5 minutes ago, talked about a guy that played with the BPO and the Tower Power and all that stuff. And he is just a monster saxophone player. He's an accountant by day, and could probably make just as much being a professional saxophone player by night. Unbelievable guy. He went and found an old vintage Selmer alto sax and did all his tracks with that. Just beautiful. Like he's got an $8,000 soprano sax, a $10,000 Barry sax, and his grandpa's alto sax. It's like a silver plated regular saxophone. I can't remember what brand it is, but he borrowed somebody's Selmer alto sax today. So what I did for recording, a lot of this I found out from our buddy Joe from the Ranikindo. And it's a fairly common recording technique. You'll stick a condenser mic and a 57 or some kind of dynamic mic on it as well. And what I found is that the 57 gets more breath than a condenser mic would.
Really?
Yeah. Well, at least with what I'm working with. So I took my Shure KSM-44, set it in cardioid, set it flat, and ran that through an Avalon, the 737 that I've got in my studio right now, borrowed because it's not mine. Because I don't think after I've used it for a few weeks that I would actually pay that kind of money to buy that kind of thing. Because I don't use the EQ, I don't use the compression, so the preamp itself isn't worth $2,300. But ran the KSM-44 through that, just through a super high shelf, like it's at 32K, and bumped it up by about 4 decibels, and then ran.
Did you mean 32K?
Yeah, it's on the Avalon 737 SP. The high shelving units are set at 10K, 15K, I think 20K, and then 32K.
I didn't see the 32 on there when I was messing with it. Holy cow!
Pretty much set everything flat, set the high or the high shelf at 32, and bump it up just a touch. And it's pretty much like everything else. You set at 12K and bump it up a little bit, and there's this gorgeous presence and air, and like I could hear every single key click when it hit down on that saxophone. But all the breath, like him actually taking a breath, got picked up on the 57 that I ran through a Focusrite pre on my Scarlett 8i6. And it sounded gorgeous. I threw the Slate Digital, or the Slate Digital. I put a Neve preamp on it, cranked the drive to about 3 decibels, and then put some Deverb from Pro Tools on. Put them in a nice big room. It sounded gorgeous. Mixed the 57 a touch lower than the KSM-44. Sounded unbelievable. Like it'll need to get mixed in, but even just raw, gorgeous. I can't imagine a better sax sound than at least the room that I've got with what I'm using right now. It fit perfectly in there. But one of not to digress, but to move around a little bit, one of the neatest things I've done with saxophone recording is one of my buddies, Nelson. My buddy Steve Padden, who plays for this girl named Jen Wigmore, who is huge, I guess, in England, Europe, and stuff. She played on the Letterman show a couple weeks ago. They played on Jimmy Fallon last week, or not Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel last week. His cousin, his name's Nelson, he used to work for some political party in Buffalo, but now is a full-time student, is an unbelievable sax player. He's got this nifty little sax. It's a soprano, but it's got a bell that curves up at the top. I did a jazz session with him about a month ago. And he's like, you know what, dude? He's like, it's cool. He's like, I'm glad you're using a really good mic on me. He's like, but the sound doesn't come just from the bell of it. It comes from the whole thing. I was like, okay, well, here, just stand where you're going to stand and let me move some stuff around on you. So I put the KSM 44 in figure 8 mode and set the center of it to the center of his sax, doubled it and threw it the one side out of polarity, and got this gorgeous sweeping saxophone sound. So once he hit the middle of his register, it panned to the other side.
Whoa.
It sounds unbelievable.
Finally found a correct usage for auto pan there.
Right? No, I didn't even have to auto pan it.
I'm saying.
You're right? It sounded so good. It was just super fat and lush, and even without anything, just the room sound in there sounded gorgeous. So I wish I would have done that, I think, tonight with my sax player, but regardless, it just, like, the room that I recorded my sax player tonight was pretty much a closet with a bunch of blankets hung up, and the KSM 44 and SM 57 with a pop filter over them, like stuck the KSM on top and the 57 directly underneath the capsule of the 44, and just got some gorgeous saxophone sounds. Everything that you want in a recorded sound, but almost a little bit more in, like, the presence of it. There was more breath. You could hear him breathing. You could hear him clicking the keys to it. It sounded more real, like you were almost like you were playing the saxophone while I recorded it, and that made my day. We took something like 35 takes, and at the end I was like, you know what? I think I want to go home and eat something, because I haven't done that most of the day. And he's like, yeah, I have children. I need to go home too. And that's the only reason we called it a day. Like, it wasn't that
Just didn't want to stop working, huh?
Right. It was so good. He took, I think, 5 full passes of the song and did the saxophone solo, and then, verses and choruses, and did a bunch of takes, all that stuff. Colors that I've never seen in playlists and Pro Tools before came up today, because he did so many of them, but they all sounded so good. There were maybe 2 or 3 passes of certain sections that I didn't like, but everything else, it's going to take me about a day to pick out what I want to put in, because it's all so good. Not my recording technique, just the playing. It's gorgeous sounding.
Nice. I should have been thinking of something to say next while you were saying all that.
It's all right. We could talk about what kind of stuff we want to do for the mini podcast. We would do that already.
We did that already.
Okay. You guys should comment. Whoever's listening should comment on what stuff they want to hear first, because we've got tomorrow all day. I'm going to be recording guitars, so for the podcast at least, I'll throw an extra mic up there, and AB a 57 and a 609. We want to do a fat skinny channel and kind of show you the difference of blending between the two for solos and for rhythm type stuff, and show you the difference of what it can make. Just 2 dynamic mics that cost $100 a piece, and being able to blend those live or in the studio, because I've done both in the studio. I've even scratch a condenser mic and just use a 57 and a 609 to blend between the two. And I think maybe in the next couple of weeks, we're going to get our buddy Brandon on, who will be actually podcasting with us very shortly, about some of the live rider type stuff. He's the drummer in my band, or not my band, but the band we both play in, Wes Walters and Carolina Gentlemen. He played at John's church last week, sat in and blew some minds over there. But if we can get him in, we want to do some stuff with the Glenn Johns recording technique. We did a podcast on that, or not a podcast. I'm sorry, just a blog post a couple of months ago. And John posted a video of Glenn Johns actually showing you how to do it, but there are no actual audio samples of it. So what we'd like to do is give you an actual recording and show you the difference of close miking and a typical drum miking technique versus the Glenn Johns stuff, and see what you guys like and see what we can work out.
Nice. So actually, I thought of something while you were talking. If
Good. I ran out of stuff to talk about.
Unfortunately, it's not going to take long to say. No, if you're interested, if you got something that you're curious about, we'll be taking requests, but only on the Facebook page. We'll do it that way. Because we're part of what we're trying to get going here is a little discussion, which is actually it's happening in a nice way on Reddit, but I don't want to necessarily just parrot every post that we put up on Reddit. So if you are kind of interested in stuff, hit us up on Facebook. That's a good spot to comment on stuff and let us know what your requests are. You can hit us up if you're a little shy, if you're a little nervous. You can hit us up in a message so that the whole world doesn't have to know what you're asking about, what you're curious about.
Or direct message me on Twitter.
There's that. Yep. So you can find Anthony on there. All right. So anyway, one thing I was thinking about this week, and this is just a little side thought, but since some of the readers seem to be interested in going out and doing some stuff on their own, on Facebook last week, my buddy Kevin got into a discussion about the 1176? No. Yes.
With Kevin?
No, not that Kevin.
Oh, Brushert?
Yes.
Oh, no, I don't know then. He's got some classier stuff.
It wasn't one of his. It was one that turned up in a picture, and we got into a discussion about it. Well, anyway, a classic, a compressor so old that it was actually called a leveling amplifier.
Right.
And it's too far back in my Facebook thing to go find now. But anyway, one of the things about it, one of the reasons people liked it and still do like it, is not because it's good at what it does or fast at what it does, but because of the unique spin it puts on audio.
Yeah.
In addition to the, the all-tube signal path and all that stuff.
With an 1176? No. No, 1176 is in tube. It's solid state. Like the Teletronics pre's?
No, maybe it wasn't 1176. I can't remember what model it was. Okay. And actually, it may not have been tube, but whatever it was, it beyond just whatever stuff the circuitry imparted in terms of warmth or harmonics or anything like that. The reason people like it is not because it acts quickly or anything like that, but what was unique about it, and I really got to prepare better for these things. What was unique about it was that the harder you hit it above the threshold, the more ratio you got. Oh, crud. The more.
Just lost focus, right?
There are way too many USB cables over on my side
of the place.
Charging my iPhone. We should just do the podcast on my iPhone.
Probably sound better.
Hey, did you listen to this yet?
But no, we talked about that earlier. I didn't listen to that yet. It was very under your focus, right? On my coffee table for the last week.
I'm sitting here waiting for a review of Anthony's expert ear on the last 8 months of my life, and he keeps putting it. What's that? If you don't have anything nice to say,
I made you chicken patties. You shut it.
Shut my mouth. Where were we? Oh, so anyway, most compressors nowadays you think of as having a ratio control, and it's pretty rare to see them. Some of them have either because of a compact design or just because of the niceness of the settings. The way they have them dialed in is you get a threshold dial that's connected to the ratio dial, so that the lower you set the threshold, the more ratio.
There's one of Matt Mackwitz uses a pedal on his bass. A compression pedal. It's a diamond compression pedal, and what I've noticed in general with certain stuff is that you can only screw a stuff to a point, and to up to that point, they're like, okay, fine, but after that point, they're like, you stop it, you cut that out. You don't know. Listen, we spent lots of hours on this, so please stop screwing with what we did because we did it right. So stop it.
So anyway, I was wanting to decide, since I like my Reaper plugins so much, just to start messing around, because you can put modifiers on anything, like modulation, You know, it has a built-in LFO, so like you can make things sweep back and forth, or you can modulate different parameters based on the level. So it's really easy to set up a compressor that just the more it compresses, the more it compresses.
Right. Like that. What was a 165 dBx with a more.
Right. Yeah. Like the old compressors with just the one setting. So yeah, like, and basically the idea is you get into it a little bit, it compresses a little. You get into it a lot, it starts compressing more and more and more. So the harder you hit it, the higher the ratio goes, and it's dependent on the program going into it. So that I'm gonna start messing with that because I'm looking for ways to put more dynamic range into my mixes. I'm getting a little frustrated, like there's almost no crest factor in the music I'm mixing at work anymore because it's live. Like I just, and to keep stuff in line, I've got to use my compression the way that I use it so I don't take people's skulls off when the band cuts loose. And so you don't lose stuff in between. Like,
I wonder, I read an article today, about the guy that mixes the American Idol or the X Factor show or something like that, or The Voice. He mixes The Voice. For the post-production. So he mixes all the stuff that goes on to TV and everything. And he actually uses the Slate plugin, the virtual console collection, and the drum replacement stuff for the live broadcast. I wonder what it would take and how much latency there would be in between doing that and running your entire 2-bus through your laptop onto a Slate plugin.
Well, live for TV, you have to build some latency. You have to build delay into the audio stream to keep it synced with the video. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a lot too. It's like seconds. By the time you get all the video
like, I wonder what it would be if work bought me my laptop and stuff, and I was able to lend that to you for a weekend service. Run your 2-bus through that, and then out to your mains through an API desk plugin.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'll try
we try.
It's not like my system's time aligned or anything, so what the heck?
You can strike a chord and 3 seconds later hear the solo. It's fine.
That's a cool idea. Yeah, you should be able to get latency down pretty far. I was thinking in terms of like, all right, if it's The Voice, I'm sure they've just got a DSP box there, some PC that's jacked to the 9s for doing low latency audio.
If I can end up buying that Focusrite Sapphire 24 DSP with DSP on it, and then run the Slate API desk or whatever desk through that, and then feed that straight back to your mains, how much of a difference would that make?
I'm thinking probably lots.
Good enough difference to try.
Good vibrations. Oh, speaking of which, man, everything is just coming up roses for me lately. Well, we're getting new in-ears. They're ordered. They should be here this week. I won't get to use them this week.
Dispose of your old ones next week, right?
Yep.
At least a pair.
See, any of my buddies that want to buy in-ears. Low miles, come buy from me. Not really. They've been through the war. But we got the go-ahead to get a Nord. Because our keyboards are all 11 years old, too.
Which Nord?
Stage piano, too.
Nice.
Yeah. I think 68.
I feel like it doesn't matter what you say Nord, and it's okay. They don't really.
I don't even know why they have so many models. Like I feel like they really just need one, or maybe one with weighted keys and one without, and that's it. Like no, they give you all the options. Mm-hmm. But with Nords, like their library of sounds is phenomenal and just keeps getting deep. Like they're just constantly coming up with stuff, and you have access. If you're an owner, if you're an owner, you have access. You can just keep going in and getting sounds. Only thing is they only work on a Nord, so like I won't be able to get them on my sessions unless I drag the red box into the office.
That's okay.
But yeah, we'll work that out.
Gonna need to borrow that.
No, I'm sure we'll be able to figure something out. Can I borrow your Avalon?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I know. If I can borrow your Joe Meek, you can borrow my Nord.
Anytime you want. I'll have to drum track for another 5 weeks. I think.
Actually, we're gonna track some lift stuff in my church soon. There was an adult band that was the house band in the youth.
Not adult in the sort that they don't wear clothes.
They're big kids, but they were the house band in the youth venue, and now they're on the regular worship teams. But they had a couple albums worth of stuff. They had recorded 2 albums, and one of the things they did, and this is not well documented, but like in their live shows, they would like just toss in part of a Journey song right in the middle of one of the tunes that they had written.
I remember that. I actually showed.
Actually, the reason they didn't do it is because it was all copyrighted material. Like they would do, like a whatever run of the mill worship song, whatever the
Don't Stop Believing,
like whatever the Hot Donuts Now worship song is. Right. Yeah, with Don't Stop Believing in it, or I Am Free with Jump at the break. Do a Van Halen breakdown. So they would do all this stuff, and they never recorded it because it was like, well, we don't really want to put this on a record because we don't want to clear the rights to it. But now that the band's kind of done with and they're doing other things, they want to document all that stuff. So that's actually going to be a cool project for me because we're just going to do that all in house. Like we'll go track for track, and do a drum session and then a bass session and so on and so forth. So that'll be a fun little side thing going on for me to just kind of be working on around the office.
Sweet.
And the other thing is, not a bad segue. We're heading into the studio here shortly. I mentioned it a couple of times. Going in to get, Just for Men commercials are almost as crazy as what are those deodorant commercials? The Old Spice ones.
Oh,
that was just whack, man. You better, a little for daddy.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, rum balls. Yeah, you don't need to get
I haven't had my prerequisite number of alcohol-laden cookies. You've got to figure, though, that some of it evaporates week after week. Like, these have been here since Christmas. There can't be that much booze in them anymore.
There's another bag in the freezer, though.
I'll be right back.
But
anyway, so it's funny because Anthony and I, we've been talking back and forth. We're also getting ready to go in and record a bunch of original material that my boss wrote and that our bands play week to week in with all the other Hot Donuts Now worship songs. And I kind of like that. There might have to be a Krispy Kreme reference, even though there's not still one in town.
I don't think there is. They got rid of all those.
That's my new term. There's nobody in town to stop me in the greater air quotes metropolitan Buffalo area to stop me from.
We have a Metro Anapolitan
from roaching Krispy Kreme's logo. But anyway, I had invited Anthony along to come on this just because he knows Pro Tools pretty well, and I may not always have my other guy to be my number two.
Yeah.
Or actually number one. Because I can't call anybody number two. And that's why that went down like that on Star Trek. But I think either one of you guys, whoever's on the session with me.
Riker knows he's up.
I need you to respond when I call number one. 57. On the DeVille. Make it so. Engage.
Someday I hope to grow a beard like Riker.
Well, apparently
probably gonna watch Star Trek when I go to sleep. Actually,
Just for Men. You could.
There, Amanda found a gray hair.
Oh dang!
How old are you? Like a long 24.
Wow.
Yeah, 24. That shows you what working at a church is like.
I forgot how old I was the other day too. One of my superior officers basically just wanted me to
see a red shirt or a yellow shirt.
He just wanted to know if I was old enough to remember Rat Tails, which. He said, how old are you? And I said, because I wasn't thinking about it, and I don't need to know my age for most of the things that I do in life. It's not tax season.
Applied for a job.
Yeah, it's not tax season yet. I don't need to know that information. I look it up when I need to write it down for something. How old are you? And I told him 38. I'm only 36. But I do remember Rat Tails because I desperately wanted one. I wasn't allowed to have one.
When I was growing up, when Rat Tails were awesome, when John was in middle school, I was taking my swimming class as a kid, and I remember somebody ripping out an 18-inch long rat tail on a kid that I was taking a swimming class with, and he bled all over the entire pool. We had to clear out swimming class, and he's a cool kid. I think he's an accountant now, actually.
So there you go.
He's Jewish, so he's probably an accountant or a publicist or something. Good luck, Sam. Whatever you're doing.
Oh, it was Sam?
No.
Oh, not that
Sam. Good. No. I said profitable, didn't I?
I was going to say, how did
useful?
He was not at all successful last time I saw him, and that was just during the warm weather. So anyway, Anthony and I are both going into California Road, which is the local studio du jour. It's the good room in town.
Like just for a little bit of basis, the guy that built that room.
Wait, one quick interjection. It's actually not the good room in town. There is a room in town with better toys, but nobody makes good records there. It's like if you want to
No one's made good records there since the 80s. Since they got rid of the API desk, they put an SSL 4K in there, and records have just pooped since minus one. Like you can read it. Like you listen to it, you're like, oh yeah, they did that on an SSL, and they did. It's still a good record. It's our buddy Josh's band. Everything else that's been done in there, you're like, well, That's okay, but it doesn't have any balls to it. Anyways, this place that we're doing, the guy that designed and actually was in and built the room is a good friend of the owner, Holt, who goes to John's church.
When he's in town, when he's not jetting all over creation.
He also built. It's going to be a good night.
Continue.
That's diet if you want.
Diet whiskey?
No. Did you even drink any of that?
I had enough.
Okay.
I'm loose now. I just sniffed it.
His good buddy built personal control rooms for Eric Clapton and Phil Collins and some other very big names around the music scene. He built this room in Orchard Park, New York. It was a fantastic room. The live room is great. The ISO room is great. The control room is flawless. It sounds gorgeous. The bowl actually that they store the bags of chips in was made by Phil Collins himself, or something like, I don't know. But gorgeous room. It made the cover of Mix magazine, which is, if you know some stuff about studio recording facilities, making the cover of Mix magazine is a pretty big deal. They've got a Control 24 in there running Pro Tools HD8, Pro Tools 8 HD3 with a 192 and a 96 in there for pre's, and everything is run through Focusrite pre's, but it really is a gorgeous room. It's a nice place to hang out while you're making a record.
It looks nice. I haven't actually been in the room yet.
We'll be there soon.
We're in preliminaries.
I'm planning on hanging out as much as I can. Just
it's going to be
like
weeks straight for him. Like he had something he was going to be wrapping up in there, mixing down, and then he was going to come hang on our sessions. And the dates are sort of not
flip flopped a bit. So I'm going to be going and helping engineer and record your sessions, and then mixing mine, and then helping engineer and record some more of your sessions. So
and then
I'm gonna roll myself down the road because I live right off of the street that the studio's on. So just roll down the street and roll into the studio.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I wonder if they have a shower there. My wife's going to be a little upset, but we'll work it out.
Yeah. And the show just ran out of gas again. That's right. We never have done. We always threaten to. This could just be a short week this week.
Yeah, well, we talked about doing
we could tack 20 more minutes on again Sunday night or Saturday night.
But we talked about doing a little mini podcast tonight just as an appreciation. For anybody that's listening, thank you guys for hitting us over our previous record for views and listens and all that stuff. We today just alone, I think we shattered with John's post on EQ Myths Busted and all that stuff. Shattered out of the park our views and listens from previous dates and stuff.
It's probably a fluke. We're probably not going to get a single hit now for a month.
It's all porn bots. But either way, thank you guys so much for listening in. I feel like sometimes the podcasts are kind of just us talking and maybe somebody listens, but we're really, really super glad that you guys are getting something out of this and enjoy listening to it. And
if you keep it up, we just might have to get on our game and
and do something that we actually know about.
Pretend we're a real show.
So we'll talk about how to replace water pumps in cars and change brakes and stuff.
Teach you how to change over the service entrance cable to your house and get rid of that annoying old fuse box. Actually, we should do an electrics. We should get
you and Gordon should. We should talk about how I almost killed myself every time I've worked on a panel box.
You just shouldn't. Yeah, dude. I'm here. I'm here for you.
That's why I bought new boots.
You got shock
220 rating. I'm okay.
You need at least 1,000 volts.
Yeah, 3-phase is awful for me.
That's what we'll do the week the baby's born. Gordon and I will just be on standby and in the hospital waiting room. We'll do an electrical safety podcast while you're pacing
on Amanda's vitals and such.
No, how to not kill yourself. We'll do it from the hospital. With that heart monitor sound in the background and doctors being paged. Be like, you don't want to end up here, kids. This is how you safely tie into a panel. But anyway.
Yeah. In case anybody's very, very inquisitive, I will be having a child, and if you want to send us gifts, we can arrange that somehow.
Cool.
Yeah, that was out of place. I'm sorry.
It's got to come up. Actually, you know what? I had thought about doing we could probably run out the clock on this one. You might actually get 2 podcasts out of us this week because I'm probably going to be full of beans again on Saturday night, and we'll have a whole bunch of stuff to say. We almost got. Where were we? Was it at lunch? Not at lunch.
Yeah, lunch.
There was another time that we should have turned a cell phone on or something because we just about had a full podcast in just the conversation we were having.
Over some General Tso's and crispy sesame chicken.
Yeah, keep talking because I forgot already what I was going to say.
What were we talking about? It was something that had to do with electricity. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, dog.
Oh, crap.
Oh, I remember now. Okay, if it's another shameless plea though for for your attention. If there is something you're interested in, especially a guest, like not that we have any sort of clout in the industry, but now with some hits behind us and the graph, the little.
We could get some free plugins if you guys talk enough.
Actually, that is one thing. I don't want anybody to suspect our motives. You know, like I've started plugging the blog on Reddit. I have yet to make a dime off of blogging, and I wrote 3-4 other blogs for years. Like I've actually been at it for about 5 years.
The Leatherman Daily. I read the Leatherman Daily.
You were it then.
That's why I bought a Leatherman, then I traded it in.
Yeah. Why are you gonna bring that stuff up? Shit's embarrassing. Oops, swear jar. We make more off the swear jar than we do off of any of the ads that are on the website, which is I try to keep it to a minimum. But just so you know, in all my years of blogging, the combined earnings from Google Ads, $15.85.
I was going to say bought John a pack of cigarettes,
and they don't write you a check until you've earned 100.
Right.
And there's a statute of limitations on that stuff too. So if you don't get to 100 before a certain point,
so John actually owes Google a pack of cigarettes or 2.
Something like that. Well, anyway, if there's somebody you would be interested in us interviewing or trying to get on for the podcast,
or if you want to interview or be on the podcast,
too. That was the other thing I was going to say. There's all types out there, and it was I'll tell you what, go.
Even if it's not like we don't do a FaceTime or a Skype chat or something like that, if you want to record some questions, record your questions, leave us like 3 or 5 seconds to splice that stuff up. We'll put in your question, we'll record
it could
your
be like
answers.
an old time phone-in radio show.
Yeah,
that'd be
why
awesome.
not? Like we're here to answer your questions because on Wednesday and Saturday nights I'm out of chicken patties, so I don't really have anything else to do. Like there's no more food to eat. It's cold outside. We don't have anything to grill, so we're here to answer your questions and fix your problems as much as we can.
You don't have to be here. We can Skype you in.
No, yeah.
Do whatever. But also, if there's anybody, if there's a studio out there, if there's a producer or engineer that you're interested in, maybe it's about time we started going the route of the Dave Pensatos and the Audio Nowcast. See if we have enough clout to.
Let's get some JJP and some CLA over here. Have them.
Even those guys have a hard time getting those guys in for interviews, but we might
can have them. Yeah, we'll fly them in on our budget, on our cigarette pack budget. We can fly those guys into my couch. Yeah,
and then we'll have his Skype number.
I wish we could talk to those guys. I just like to hang out with them.
You know what? Actually, I was thinking of is until Butch Vig got famous again, doing stuff with Dave.
Him and Mike Klink. What was Mike Klink done in a while? It's been a while. He did Pensato's Place, but what else has he done in a while? It's been Appetite for Destruction. I know he's done other stuff. I'm just joking, but like all those guys, like if we can get enough clout behind us, maybe we can do something legitimate.
Right. And I also wanted to say, I'm probably going to link up to it because the discussion that spilled out on Reddit after this EQ post was exactly the kind of environment that we wanted. And it sort of already existed there. I was just happy to luck into it. I'll look that up and link to it so you can see how a proper forum is run. And it's really not run by anybody. I mean, like there's mods in there. The mods never have, I don't know on that one. Like I'm a mod on the live soundboard.
Right.
There isn't any skullduggery. Like people don't show up and like, there are a couple of guys who are clearly like trolls. So smart that they've become socially retarded. So like guys are kind of talking about, you should hang diffusers like this and then do this with your absorption and bass traps, and then somebody comes in and like just drops
sprinkle them with Macallan 27-year scotch, and then
there's a guy that'll show up and just drop science, like 3 paragraphs of graduate level textbook stuff just out of his dome.
The guy that wrote the textbook, and then we're both like, oh yeah, we're gonna I've got to go and patch things. Or stuff.
Yep.
With my. Go on.
Anyway, it's just a super environment. Like there were guys who who just generally don't let on what they are. Like if they answer questions, they just answer it like they know what they're talking about, and people accept the answer. And if somebody starts to answer something wrong and gets corrected by somebody else, it's a classic example of you can be right all the time if you're willing to change your mind.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, because it doesn't devolve into flame wars, like you can see like 3 or 4 comments down, we're like, oh, this is not going to be good. And then 3 more comments down, they're like, quite right. I didn't realize I agreed with you in the first place, good sir. Not at all, best sir. Thank you for your, like, just...
Someone just got circumcised.
The etiquette is just super, super nice. And the discussion that came out of it and the details that kept coming out, like, that's the beautiful thing about the internet. And that's, like, if the community is already there, I'll keep slipping my best stuff over there. And if you want to come drop by the blog and the podcast during the week, but that seems to be the spot for learning about audio right now. Just don't show up and ask us what kind of interface you should get or what kind of
no, by all means ask us, because
ask us so the guys on Reddit don't get
they're running out of stuff.
Like, I don't know, like I have a hotkey for Focusrite. Just go get that stuff. But
it's less than $1,000. So, and what I make in a month, you can buy like 4 of them.
You know what I love though, and like other guys complain about them, but I really, really like it when the posts come up like, hi, here are my unrealistic expectations of how I would like to set up my venue or home studio or project or what have you. I have 1/10 of the minimum amount you would need to actually accomplish this in the real world. What should I buy?
They're called bank loans, son. Get on that.
There was one that popped up in the live sound forum, and I'm totally not mocking the guy, but like he was in the States for one reason or another and wanted to buy enough DJ equipment to do small, like 100, 150 head hip hop shows. He was going to buy good stuff in the States because apparently it's really hard to get stuff in Brazil and ship it back. Okay. He had $700 to spend. I'm like, okay, so there's your shipping. Like, there's your freight and your customs and all that other stuff. Like, what are you going to get for some, like, and guys are saying like, well, Stage Pass, like, okay, yeah, you got a 300 watt sound system in a shoebox from Yamaha that you'll let the smoke out of 10 minutes into sound check. It's just, and I'm totally not ragging on the guy, but like those are the questions that I actually really like to get, because sometimes people will find really creative solutions to it.
They make you think more, because you get.
It's easy to say like
someone's saying like, well, what should I get for my home studio? Like, oh, no limitations. Oh, here, this is everything you need to buy, and $20,000 worth of stuff that you don't actually need. But like the limitation driven questions, like I've got $200. But I need to run the
It's nice when they actually have enough money to buy even the most, like, some of the solutions. Like, I love it when guys say, like, I have $1,400 to $2,500 to spend on studio monitors. Those are fun questions to answer.
That's $1,400 to $2,500 more than I have to spend on anything.
That was back in the pre-Reddit days, like back in the Usenet days on the news groups.
What now?
In the news groups. So I used to hang around on.
I don't know. Was I around for that?
It still exists, but yeah.
Okay.
There was alt.audio.pro.live-sound, AAPLS, and there were guys on there that
ARP.live-sound?
Pretty much now. That's exactly what it is now. There were these guys that were, I mean, they had shirts made up and everything. They were the MDST, the $1 Million Snob Team. So like any high school kid that showed up, like wanting to know if he should use the band director's SM57 or his SM58 to mic the orchestra for a recording, and then the MDST would sweep in like, now what you want to do, boy, is get out your checkbook. Like like the minimum solution they threw at anybody was $30,000 worth of gear. And this was in the early 90s, like in 20 years ago money. So,
oh my God. I feel old now. 20 years ago in 1990. Son of damn. Oh,
you were born in the 80s, right?
Yeah,
math.
Almost.
Yeah.
Were you? 88.
All right. So it was still the 80s until about 1993. In our part of the country, anyway. It was different
until California Love came out.
Yeah, that was
Tony Maserati wrecked everything for us.
Bastard. See that guy.
We'll get him on the podcast. We'll set him straight. I would love for one of the big guys like Dave Pensato or Jack Chesapeake or Chris Lord-Alge or Tony Maserati here. It's like, who are these assholes? I'm going to show up. No. I'm going to show up to their house today. You buy me a plane to Gee,
We'll be taking up collections.
Get home from work and Tony Maserati sitting on my porch like, oh damn. Oh, I earned this.
I love it when I come home and you're sitting there.
All four of them sitting on the bench like, listen, you son of a bitch. Smack. Just sit in the corner while you throw poop at me.
That would be funny if we offended the industry to the extent that...
I would almost not be okay with, but be accepting of having actual poop thrown at me if all four of them showed on our porch.
So like what, Dave Pensato, CLA, Tony Maserati, and...
no.
Who else?
I don't know. I love Chris Algae, but I feel like Tony Maserati, Jack Joseph Puig.
There you go.
Dave Pensato.
You know what was fun?
Joe Barresi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Baumgartner? Joe Baumgartner?
We're not picky, folks.
No.
If any
of you
if any real aviators are listening, yeah. If you're a closet fan, sneak out. You know what? Actually, we could have like the mystery real world studio guest. We could cloak their voice. People have to try and guess from their... It's
got to be warm outside when you buy the campfire.
Right, and then people have to guess where like the pitch shifted. Well, Dave Pensato would be a giveaway. Like that way, because it would just... The pacing of his voice...
mixed all the Pink records. Damn.
I mean, like Dave Pensato just down 2 octaves like, how do you...
My normal register? Thanks.
Yeah. You just need to talk a third the speed that you do now. And
Dave Pensato.
Pause a lot. Well, that'll be funny. Let's see how offensive we can become to the entire industry and see if we can, out of spite, get a real engineer to come do a show with us.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't imagine. I'd just like to hang out, like not even do a podcast. Like, you know what? You want to go out for dinner? I'll buy you dinner somewhere cheap. Real cheap, because
you haven't lived until you've been to Chang's Gardens, honestly. So it's... I mean, people come to Buffalo just for that. Well, no, or Duff's. Duff's, Anchor Bar.
I don't know, whatever. If any of those guys want to come and hang out in Buffalo, Joe Barresi, John Baumgartner, Dave Pensato, JJP, Chris Algae, Tom Algae. I don't really care. If you've done anything worthwhile, which is anything more than we've done, we'll buy you.
We could start just start insulting them.
Just you though, not like we're pretty broke, so anybody.
Yeah, we can't feed your assistants. We could just start insulting people's mamas until they want to come down here and straighten us out, and then we'll give them the bums rush and ask them audio questions.
Maybe get some free plugins out
Since
of it.
You're here. Slate? Is Slate on that list? I didn't hear that name come up.
Steven Slate, I call you out. No. Yeah. Any of those guys. I wish I had money to fly them all out and bring them here and just hang out for a day.
Or even just Skype in. It would be freaking sweet to...
Oh, my God.
We know what we should do is start looking around for some of these little boutique studios and see if we can get, like, their A2s to come on. You know what I'm talking about?
People outside of Buffalo, yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, in the real world.
Where music happens.
Yeah.
Music hasn't happened here since the
Where music happens
left.
in real time, not 3 years later when it finally trickles down the cable. Where they have culture that doesn't come in on MTV.
Mm-hmm.
MTV doesn't play music anymore. All right, well, I think we really are going to wrap this one early. We're going to do it in a timely fashion and not just straggle out.
We've been out of juice for the last 20 minutes. I don't know what we've been babbling about, but it's pretty awful. So
we mostly just started talking tonight because there wasn't anything good on TV, but then there started being really good stuff on TV, so you kind of...
Well, it's football now, so we're out of stuff.
Yeah, I'm completely disinterested in that.
Well, at least maybe we could hashtag all of the nice names that we've tagged in that. Maybe somebody will recognize it and be like, hey, those assholes in Buffalo. What are the chances that they would listen to the whole thing? Because we don't bring it up until like the 55th minute of the hour-long podcast.
Wrap
it now.
That'll be a mini pod. We'll do a call-out mini podcast. Like, Dave Pensato, your mama ugly and she dressed you funny. What are you going to do about it, huh?
I'm sorry, Dave. He didn't mean it. He really didn't. Please come and talk with us. We want friends.
You're uglier than Herb's sweater.
Oh. Well, there goes Dave. All right, so Jack.
He enjoys a good ribbing. He's a connoisseur, I can tell. But no, seriously, anybody who really does this. Anyway, never mind. Yeah, well, come on down. We'll make you look good by how bad we look.
All by ourselves. It's not hard. We'll leave the room and you look good.
Yeah, just come do a podcast at our house. We don't have to be on it. Like you can just kind of like we can just Skype you in and we'll set a mic up and
green screen you in my corner.
All right, so that's been enough of us being ridiculous. A little ridiculous is fine.
This has been about a half hour ridiculous.
Yep. But anyway, this is what we do.
Sleep.
We get together, we talk about audio. Sometimes we record it, and you get to listen. So if you want it to be less ridiculous and more about audio, jump on Facebook, look us up, Smart to Noise Ratio, like the page, start sending us your thoughts. Also, if you're a listener and not yet a reader, check out smart2noise.blogspot.com.
If you want to complain or ask us more questions,
go on Reddit.
Go on Reddit. I'm not. I think I'm on Reddit. Maybe. Tweet me, angry. Tweet me. That's all right. My Twitter handle's at Anth Kosobucki, Kosobucki.
I really should tweet more.
It's all right. I do that.
All right.
I do it all the time.
I haven't opened Hootsuite in 2 months.
It's free.
I know. I have it. It's on everything. I got it on all my computers and my phone and everything else. I just never opened the damn thing.
Tweet us, Facebook us, email us, do whatever you need to do. Make it offensive if you need to, I guess.
You know what Nate actually did? Nate started to do a mini podcast, but then he didn't actually have any of the stuff to do it. So he kind of he emailed me a voicemail.
Isn't that what I did? And I got almost 400 views.
All right, actually, you know what? I am going to go ahead and use his. I'll use Nate's audio because Nate's a good soldier. He helps us.
Oh yeah, Nate's awesome. I didn't feel bad at all about giving Nate cigarettes when he was trying to quit smoking. I do now because I quit smoking.
Oh, Nate's about to find out the glories of archival work. Nate being the intern that gets to play all the half-inch tape onto. Listen, we'll pay you. And we'll give you booze, and we'll provide a suicide watch. Just say yes and show up.
My buddy works at a funeral home.
We'll give you a decent burial when it finally kills you.
The best. I feel like we should take that out.
That was not. I'm cool with that.
I like Nate. I don't want him to be on suicide watch.
He is now. There's not anybody in the world that I'm more worried about.
But he listens to the podcast. We should take that out.
He knows we love him. I'm harder on him than anybody else because I know he can take it. It's how we express love. By the way, if you hadn't noticed this, if you're just getting in, if you're thinking about getting in, one of the most important things about working in audio is how much snark you have. Like, if you can't be a pessimistic, snarky, cynical...
What you need to do is take that and make people buy you drinks because of that.
Exactly.
That's
what it is, though, is we were all nerds growing up. And people made fun of us. So in our little nerd groups, we made fun of each other for fun. And now as grown-ups, that's how we express love.
Like, for example, Brian Moore has the largest Star Wars collection of toys that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Tell me that came from a normal childhood. I dare you.
Like, Brian knows he's crazy.
Crazy good.
I feel bad because I've only met Brian twice in real life, and he has no idea who I actually am. I talk to him a lot, but...
Does he talk back? Or are you
Oh, yeah. No, I don't just talk to him. I'm not that crazy. I don't think. But I've got a Batman collection. He's got a Star Wars collection. I have crazy cats.
I had to give up my superhero collection because it's not church approved. I like Lobo. This is the perfect comic book for me to collect.
We should wrap this up real quick.
It's still under an hour. We're bringing you value. Leaving off the last 10 minutes so you come back.
And it's still free, son.
All right. So yeah, sorry we got so punchy. We'll try and get it together. But anyway, the mini podcast are what's paying the rent around here anyway. So this is just gravy for us, for people who think we're funny. It's pretty much.
We're really not. Even though I'm Jewish, it's not that funny.
Hey. All right. Well, anyway, here we are actually wrapping it up this time. Thank you again. Hat tip to all our fellow Redditors. Thank you for your courtesy. Thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for your willingness to share and argue without devolving into mama jokes and penis jokes, especially the penis jokes. I've never appreciated the absence of something so much as the absence of genitalia references in an audio forum.
Hey, John, how do you start a Jewish parade? Maybe we should wrap this up.
I'm just going to turn you down here. Wish I could cut.
Roll a petty down the street, son.
That's 2 Jew references. Does that mean you have to lay off the next show? Or?
I could.
Because you're one ahead.
Or you could sleep outside.
It's warm.
Yeah, it is nice outside. You want to have a campfire? We'll do another one outside.
Yeah, the wood's wet. But anyway, look up all those places. And I keep trying to say, if you're, and I hate to reveal Reddit to the world, but seriously, if you're interested in audio, one of the best forums in the world right now for pro audio, Gear Sluts is fantastic. Control Booth is fantastic if you're in high school and you do theater. But for the widest, broadest possible base of audio knowledge, you want to get on Reddit, go to reddit.com/r/livesound, all one word, and /r/audio engineering, all one word. That's where the action's happening right now. That is where the courteous, classy people who know what's going down are hanging out, waiting to answer your questions. So, it's almost midnight, so the narwhal's going to bacon. So this has been Jon Dayton and Anthony Kosobucki.
Good night, ladies.
Signing off. Thanks, guys. We'll see ya.
Good night.